beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Robin Minds. You're very welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiishande. Great to have you here on the show. We have a lot to talk about on the show today. I remember last week I was wishing the Golden Eaglets good luck as they were going to be facing Mali in the finals of the World Cup, the Under-17 World Cup. And guess what? Well, I'm sure you know already that we did come back with the cup, defended it successfully and won it for the record fifth time. So we're going to be starting the show today on a sporting note, and I have here with me someone who's very capable of tackling everything I have to throw at him, Jimmy Ogunlana. Thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Ebuka, and I think it's a very, very good one for Nigerians that we're able to do that. We did what we needed to do. We won the Under-17. You remember when in 1985, as Under-16, we got the trophy, you understand, the Undoka Gbade led team. They did us very proud, and the major questions from then on had been, how have we been able to replicate this moving forward into our national teams? How have we been able to harness the potentials from all the players that we've had? I mean, over 80 players. How have we been able to have the senior national team, you know, benefiting from the Under-17, the successes that we've achieved? Five trophies. You remember the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, Yaya Mohammed, doing us proud in 2013. The likes of the Yemi Tela boys, the likes of the 1993 boys. Yes, very well, they did try when you consider the fact that Marco Kano, Oruma, they give all the best for the country. A lot of these teams, we've known successes, but would we say we have succeeded when it comes to...
I like the fact that you've actually led me into many other questions I was going to ask. There's a friend of mine on Twitter, Tunde Sawyer, I think. He did tweet when the Golden Eaglets won that trophy saying, well, that it's nice that Nigeria won, but why are we really going to celebrate this? Because this is not the first time. We've been waiting for this translation to happen over the years. And like you said, we've won it 5 times. It really hasn't moved on even to Under-20, which is the next stage, you know. And he said something that was quite controversial, which was part of a bit of a debate on social media, saying that with all the trophies Nigerian men have won in football, only 3 have come on a very fair...
Men.
Yeah, we're not talking about the women now, because the women have, of course, over time done very great things. But with the male side of things, only the 3 Nations Cup victories have come clean. From Under-23 at the Olympics to all the Under-17 trophies. He said there was nothing to celebrate because we have a reputation which we haven't necessarily been able to clear up until now. Is that something we should be talking about?
I think when you look at the fact that when you look at other nations that have done very well at the Under-17, you don't have all of the players, so to say, all of the players doing very well at the national team.
Yes. I mean, that's very true.
You look at the likes of Neymar, or not all of those ones that, you know, played alongside Neymar did very well. You look at maybe Ronaldinho, not all of the players that did very, very well. You look also at the fact that they are late bloomers, so to say. Ian Ruben is not your Under-17 player. You didn't know him at Under-17 level. Zinedine Zidane had never been Under-17. You would always look at exceptions, so there would always be exceptions to the case. But, I mean, when you look at the fact that we've recorded successes at the Under-17 level, as a nation, now we should tell ourselves the truth. What exactly Nigeria, so to say, now are we doing to ensure that we have a football philosophy that is hinged on the successes of what we have been getting at the Under-17 level? We need to look at the football philosophy that runs right through Under-17, producing a conveyor belt from Under-17 to Under-20, Under-23, and to the national team. We know football is a unifying factor in our own, you know, in this side of the world. So if football is supposed to be a unifying factor, even at the BS of making other sports not as relevant as football, we need to be able to account for why we have made football #1 sport in Nigeria, and Under-17 being that grassroots stage. Under-13, Under-15, Under-17, we must be able to account for how we are treating the youth. It starts from the Under-17.
Are we focusing too much on winning sometimes? You think that's the problem? I know Channels is doing a very an amazing thing with the Channels Kids Cup, discovering them much younger. So that, I mean, when you identify them at that age, it's almost impossible for them to falsify anything, which is what has been probably our biggest problem over the years. But do we focus too much on winning these youth tournaments and then not being able to transition properly? Is that a problem?
I want to agree with you. You're asking the question,
Yes.
but I'm saying the question is actually the reality. Now it becomes a statement when you say that we have at every point in time, a government tells you you have got to win trophies. You remember when Alphonsus Dike in 2009 or 2008, 2009 thereabouts went with very young kids. He had to be sacked because they didn't produce results. We were defeated by Republic of Benin, and it was like, oh, come on, how can you lose 3-0? But it was trying to garner through, 19 on the 17 lads to make sure we had those ones that could actually give us glory moving into several years thereafter. We focus so much on results, we forget. Now we're talking about the season of results where everybody can say, okay, we have got a tournament. In the next 3 weeks, we know whether this team has performed or not performed. But are we talking about development where you understand that this team, though they have not won the competition, they have done very well for themselves, or we can harness on what they have been able to achieve, then monitor, nurture, assist them, and get results. Those have been some of the challenges that we have been faced with in the past. In times past, we never really focused on true development. We always focused on competition results, and it's still, I look at it as being inimical to development of the sport. And it goes a long way in saying, even if we are treating football this way, how do we treat other sports?
Yes.
Football is getting enough of our allocation when it comes to sports, and we're not treating it the right
places,
way.
maybe.
So what are we talking about?
We've won it 5 times, like you said, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the 93 team has probably transitioned the most.
Yes,
with the Roma, I think Celestine Babayaro.
Like 6 of them
actually made all the way and had a good career. I had good careers, if I'd use that. Correct me if I'm wrong as well, but now seems like we haven't had it better than we have now. Winning 2 under-17s back-to-back, we definitely do have a pool to draw from. There's no reason why Qatar 2022 or whatever it is, at that stage, some of these people shouldn't be the core of the Super Eagles, if you know what I mean. What should the NFF be talking about now or doing? We have a new Minister of Sports, Mr. Solomon Dalong. What should he be doing with the NFF now or the NFA? We don't even know what they're called. What should they be doing now?
I think one thing that we need to look for is transparency and honesty in our sports. We need to do some kind of honest introspection and tell ourselves the truth, the basic truth. Now, if we're talking about the under-17 from 2 years back, UAE, they won, the under-17 competition. Now we've already won this one. Now we're talking about a pool of talent like 40 players that they're about to play with.
There's no reason why
there's no reason. We should be able to talk about 2022 and be very proud of ourselves and say, yeah, we got a team. We got players like Ian Acho, we have got players like Yahya Mohamed, Awoni, and all of those players. But you're not going to be telling yourself the truth if we at the national team level are still talking about an Obafemi Martins or maybe some other players that don't do well, and somebody comes into the press and says, oh, this player is playing well, Benjamin Ogbeche is playing. Let us have a football philosophy. Let us have like a formulation of policy that tells us, yeah, this is where we want to go for our national team. If we've got players at this level, this is exactly what we expect from these players. If we don't have that, we'll be deceiving ourselves, because we've got a talent of young players that we can harness on. But if we think that they're not old enough or they're not mature enough or they need to still learn, you got to ask yourself, who are they learning from? There must be a learning process. Like, okay, you look at the 1994 team, so to say. They had very talented players. Majority of the players that they replaced in the 1994 team played in 1992 Nations Cup, played in 1990 Nations Cup. We saw the progression. You could see players progressing. But all of a sudden, we are too hasty. We want players to come good. All of a sudden, you want Ian Acho to be thrown in. You want Victor Osimhen to be thrown into the fray. It don't work that way. Ordinarily, what we should be having is this person comes to the team. He understudies this player. Probably is an aging player. He understudies about. A lot of things are going wrong administratively. You see a lot of talked about code of conduct, how our players conduct themselves on social media. You look at what happened in Nigeria, Switzerland. it looks almost like the players were not playing with urgency. They were not playing with that verve that they should be playing with. It tells you about what's happening. It tells you about the fact that if care is not taken, we won't have this under 17 team and the under 17 team for 2013 be marketable as they should be moving forward in a couple of years. And you'll be asking yourself the same questions: where is Christos Macaulay? You know, some of these things, you ask yourself, the likes of Cruz that are doing very well now, where is Chris Santos?